I'm Ashton from EventChain for Investment Pitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Nate Whitehill, the co-founder of Cryptoslate. Nate, thank you so much for being on the show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm eager to learn a little bit about Cryptoslate, your platform for delivering cryptocurrency and blockchain news. First of all, could you give the story to the users on why did you start Cryptoslate and what was the goal that you were trying to bring to the industry?
Sure. So I've been a software developer for over a decade, and I got into the cryptocurrency space in 2015. By 2017, I decided I wanted to work in the space full time. Previously, I'd helped a lot of other organizations set up kind of news and media businesses. So I had the skills as a developer and also the understanding of the media side and the interest in cryptocurrency. So I started Cryptoslate in August of 2017. I've been operating now for over 2 years, and the goal is to provide objective daily news. And we also have a data platform as well. We list around 2,400 different cryptocurrencies, and we have a company, product, and people directory as well.
That's amazing. Yeah, there's so much going on in the blockchain industry right now, and there's so many different ways you could approach a news site, right? There's applications, there's development, as you were saying, there's tons of development going on. There's the updates for all of the different blockchain projects and coins that are going on. There's mining, and then there's the crypto trading in the markets and the technical analysis. So many different things. You know, what are you guys trying to focus on currently, and is that working for you guys?
Yeah, so our daily objective is to put out unique, compelling articles about the cryptocurrency and blockchain space. So unlike a lot of our competitors, we really go for a quality over quantity approach. We definitely try to publish high quality, well-sourced, interesting, entertaining articles. And that's worked out really well as far as growing the traffic organically. Over the past 2 years, we've organically built about 1 million backlinks for Cryptoslate. We've been sourced by Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Seattle Times, tons of data organizations, ultimately with the goal of just providing objective, interesting, entertaining content on a daily basis.
That's great, and 1 million backlinks sounds like quite a bit, so good work on that so far. One interesting factor that news sites tend to get into is the education, right? This space is fairly technical and it's quite new still. Are you guys focusing on educational content, or do you see viewers coming that are just starting to learn about cryptocurrency and blockchain, or are you more catered to more advanced or novice users?
Yeah, I would say we definitely try to cater to both. One way in which we do that is we have a glossary that's built into the site. So if you're reading a news article for the first time and you see a term you may not understand, it'll automatically put a gray kind of dotted line under that link. And if you hover over it, it'll then explain what that term is. So most of the way in which we present content, I would say, is definitely catered towards a more advanced user, but with the directory as well. That's something that, because we have a directory of coins, companies, people, products, we're able to provide meta information for every single article. So you'll notice that as you scroll down, read news on Cryptoslate, on the sidebar, we display the people, the products, companies mentioned in that article. So you can easily learn more about any particular person or company mentioned in any Cryptoslate article.
That's great. It's almost turning into like a Wikipedia where you can network between people and projects and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely try to, the news is the most important thing for us. So we really want to get out quality, interesting news first. But other than that, we try to provide enough of the supplementary information about any given, news topic that someone may read on Cryptoslate.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And there's so much crypto news coming out that, I could see how you guys would be busy even on a daily basis. There seems to be, it's almost like it's hard to keep up. And if you don't see any news, then you probably aren't looking hard enough. So what are some interesting or huge news stories that you guys have broken in the recent times here?
A lot of the stuff that's coming out of China now is very interesting. Bobby Wan, as most people know, is probably one of the best sources for China info. So we try to follow kind of the thought leaders in the crypto space, and then based off what they say, we produce a lot of articles. So we started to get into doing more original research in-house. For example, a few months ago, there was a big EOS exploit that we actually covered. We were the first to cover this big exploit, and Dan Larimer and some of the other EOS Block 1 guys are actually, tweeting about that and referencing the article that we wrote, which is pretty in-depth as far as, explaining it from a technical point of view. So we definitely try to cover things as much as possible, try to cover original news, but a lot of the time we are just kind of basing the news coverage based off what other thought leaders in the space are already saying.
Yeah, definitely. And it's great to have those researchers and to be able to break the news first, especially when the crypto markets are 24/7 and time is always flying, and the news can, change overnight when you go to sleep and all of a sudden China's done something and now Bitcoin's up 40% in a day, as we've seen, last month, which was crazy. So speaking of having more researchers, what's your guys' team like right now? Where are you based and how many people, and is it growing?
Right now, I'm based in Seattle, Washington. Most of our writers are distributed around the world. So Joseph Young, for example, splits his time between Hong Kong and Korea. Ali, he works out of Barcelona. We have writers out of who are from New Zealand, currently living in Vietnam. The plan is actually to relocate everyone to London next year. London, you may be well aware, just recently surpassed New York and San Francisco for a total number of fintech VC deals. And there's just so much happening in the London ecosystem. Companies like Skew, which is a data analytics company, just raised $2 million. You have Bitstamp there. You have Revolut, which is one of the biggest fintech banks. Monzo. There's just a lot happening in London. So we'll be relocating there sometime in Q1 2020.
That's great. And yes, Southeast Asia and now Europe seem to be growing rapidly in their interest in cryptocurrency. So that's an interesting strategy that you guys have. Now, speaking of strategies, could you talk a little bit about what's your guys' strategy for acquiring users? And are you going to be targeting London and the Europe area as you continue to grow for the viewership, or is it more of a global?
Yeah, so right now we get the majority of our web traffic from Europe and Asia. About 65% of our traffic comes from there. Actually, being on the Pacific time zone is a little bit of a problem because we get the majority of our web traffic between midnight and 6 a.m. Pacific time. So that means, we constantly have to coordinate about what articles go out and how do we stay fresh with the news coverage. As you know and said, it's a 24/7 kind of, global operation. So I would say for the most part, Europe and Asia have been our kind of hubs that we've targeted as far as news. But, and it's funny to say that the United States is kind of an afterthought in this whole blockchain revolution.
Yeah, well, we'll see how, I think a lot of it's to do with the impression that people see in the media and the regulations and stuff. So we'll see how each country takes those progressive steps forward. And it seems that quite a few countries in Southeast Asia, at least I know, are very progressive on the industry. And I think that that's helping it move forward, which is great because there's a lot of value to be had. Now, with you guys expanding and you're moving to London, could you talk a little bit about the revenue generation and sources for Cryptoslate? Do you guys do sponsored articles or advertisements, or do you guys have other products that you have available for VIP members and stuff? How are you guys generating revenue and creating a sustainable business?
Yeah, so far most of our revenue has been generated off advertising. We have been kind of experimenting with different premium subscription models. So we launched something called Cryptoslate Research a few months ago. And Cryptoslate Research is a paid service. We're actually pausing it for the time being as we revamp it. We're going to come out with a new service called Cryptoslate Plus, which will be at an even lower price point. It'll basically give people access to some of the more exclusive articles and also hide ads from them as well. And we're also building out a new kind of pro feature set for Cryptoslate that will probably be announced sometime in the next 3 to 6 months. But really trying to balance between the advertising side, which is kind of the lowest hanging fruit, with directory listings is another big one for us. We have these incredible, beautiful directories for companies, products, people. So doing things like, charging for listings and premium listings. One thing that's extremely important to us is disclosure in advertising. So I'm sure you're aware that a lot of companies, they like to, or they try to pay extra to remove the disclosure tag. In the United States, that's illegal by the Federal Trade Commission. standards, all ads have to be disclosed. So we take disclosure very seriously, just from a legal standpoint, but also in the interest of our readers too. We always want to provide as objective and kind of transparent in our reporting as possible, whether it's writing a news story or showing an advertisement. So disclosure is something that we require on any single dollar that we take money to show something for.
Definitely. And I'm glad you guys are doing that. So as you continue to grow, what obstacles do you foresee, will be a challenge to overcome in the near future?
Challenges for the business or challenges for crypto in general?
Well, for Cryptoslate, and this does apply to the industry as well.
I would definitely say, there's a lot of really good kind of crypto media and research outlets now. So trying to be competitive just as far as getting news out quickly, covering interesting information. We actually internally use this code that I came up with to kind of to simplify what is good content, and OFC. So it stands for original, fresh, and compelling. That's the goals for any particular article that gets good views. Is that it's something that's an original take, meaning it's not just a rehash of an existing story, some sort of original analysis. Being fresh in the news cycle, so that means if we are covering or kind of jumping on another story, we're doing it as quickly as possible in the news cycle, as opposed to waiting 8 to 12 hours. And then obviously the compelling part, something that's interesting, entertaining, people care about. A lot of that has to do with what projects we're talking about. So anything in the top 15, I would say, has big enough communities that they kind of, the traffic organically goes to those particular articles about particular projects.
That's great. I love that. And it's great to jump onto the large cryptocurrency communities and get their support, because it's easy to tap into a community that, EOS and Ethereum and Bitcoin just have huge communities, but there's actually a lot of other up and coming projects that if you can be the one to break the news on them first, then that's also very important. So that's great. So as you guys continue to expand, what is Cryptoslate most interested in acquiring? Are you guys looking for more strategic partnerships? Are you guys looking to hire more people? Or are you just looking for more viewership and more subscriptions?
I would say right now our main focus is on just growing the business organically. So, putting out interesting articles that are spread virally, that get good discoverability in search and in social media. That's definitely a huge part of it. We are looking for kind of bigger companies, well-known brands to partner with on advertising opportunities. So right now, for example, we're working with Bybit and Celsius at kind of strategic integrations of their current offerings. So companies that have good reputation, that have been around long enough, they have value to provide back to our readers. For example, we don't advertise any ICOs or IEOs. That's just too much of a risk. As 99% of the ICO or IEO projects are down 99%. It's really kind of the top people are basically dumping on the retail. So we can't get behind any sort of advertising. Despite that, there still seems to be a lot of money that does want to advertise those sort of projects.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And if there's people that are interested in following Cryptoslate or just learning more or getting involved, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Check out cryptoslate.com, or you can go on Twitter and follow us at Cryptoslate. You can also direct message me on Telegram at just Cryptoslate.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nate, for your time. I'll leave those links in the description box below. That's all the time we have for this interview, but I really appreciate hearing about Cryptoslate, and congrats on your growth so far, and I'm looking forward to following up in the near future.
Thanks so much, Ashton. Appreciate it.